One night, last week, I couldn't sleep because the neighbors were having a party and the music was so loud and irritating. It was so monotonous and thumping away very loudly that I couldn't sleep, and I first felt agitated. I felt it to be unfair, but then I tried to take this discomfort, this inconvenience as an opportunity for practice. I tried to take this discomfort as a chance for practicing how to direct my attention, how to manipulate the disturbances I perceive in my environment in a way that it will benefit me in some way. And I try to visualize or associate the sounds, this thumping sound, with some relaxing image, some form or shape. Of course, I didn't really manage to trick myself into sleeping, but I felt that it is possible to do. It's something that can be done. It's not impossible. And this is what I would like to talk about in this video. About how we can reframe our experiences, especially negative experiences that cause us some imbalance, psychological imbalance. So how we can reframe these experiences by deploying our capacity for attention in a skillful and deliberate fashion. Because we can direct and sustain and control our attention in a way that can help us to get over stressful situations. We can get over stress by I'm sure you have experienced when you are anxious or you feel uncomfortable and you talk to a certain individual, either on phone or in person. There are people who can calm you, soothe you by the way they talk, by the way they direct your attention away from the actual stress that you had your attention on beforehand. And this is something that we can do on our own as well, I believe. When we are disturbed, we feel anxious or stressed out, we can direct our own attention in a way that our emotions will not hinder but rather facilitate our healthy being in the moment. So let's talk about attention first. I think attention is like a feeble bird that is constantly drawn by the saliences in its experience and flying from one branch to another branch all the time, hopping around from one branch to another branch. Or like some kind of a liquid sloshing about in a container that is rigged onto a truck, which constantly takes turns and bumps into obstacles, because we always are involved in some kind of situation and then we rush to another situation. From one activity we go to another activity, one task to another task, and we are committed. We have goals in our minds, and those goals anchor and bias our attention. So when I am watching a movie and I go to the toilet during the movie, when I go to the toilet I won't pay attention, or I will pay the least attention possible to the intervening doors that's between the movie and the toilet, because my mind is still with the movie. Or when I'm reading a book, I'm not paying attention to my body posture or the chair under me. I'm paying attention to the meanings that I encounter in the words. So attention is always driven. Something always catches it and holds it in its embrace, to put it in this way. So, barring contingencies, unexpected distractions in the environment, in general, I would say that our attention is geared towards the features of the preferred aspects of our activities or situations, at the expense of other aspects of those situations and activities. And our attention is guided by the features we are attuned to in certain situations, and it binds our mind states with their triggering sources. I hope it's clear some way. And the most important thing is that all this is very habitual, deeply habitual to particular situations or tasks or activities. We respond with particular thoughts and feelings, thought and feeling patterns. In fact, the idea that it's habitual explains why certain individuals can calm us, because we associate those individuals with situations. They create, their presence create a situation in which we become calm, because we are accustomed to the way that that particular person can make us feel relaxed. And the fact that our commitments and actual preferences bias and gear our attention towards particular aspects of our activities and situations at the expense of other aspects of those activities and situations is not necessarily negative. It's not a problem, because it facilitates progress. It helps us to get along, but sometimes it can have negative consequences as well, and that's what I'm talking about here. So, for example, when you have an experience that disrupts the familiar structure of your life or of your perceived self, when you lose somebody, or when you have to relocate and restart your life, you have to change your previous lifestyle for some reason. In some cases, the initial response is a feeling of groundlessness. You feel groundless, and that can cause depression, which will only disappear gradually as you settle into your new circumstances, and you get accustomed, and you create new routines and set up new routines, and you set up a new structure to your life, a structure that makes it predictable or familiar, at least in some way. But you can achieve this. You can reduce stress and milder forms of depression by occupying the present moment more fully and more deeply, so you don't have to suffer through the transition period, but you can do it within the transition if you suspend your narrative sense of self, basically. When you simply occupy the present moment, when you don't struggle with the had-beens or might-have-beens or the should-be's, and you simply ground yourself in the present moment. And this is something you can do